everybody to the Daily Market Commentary. My name is Charlie Fulkerson, joined by my dad, Super Bald Chuck Fulkerson.
Charlie, you're calling me bald. That's not very nice. He likes to be mean to me. But welcome, everybody, to the Daily Market Commentary. I've got an amazing co-host again with me as he and I do our market lessons in the mornings, and so you guys get to join in and be part of it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. For those of you new to the channel, we look at the same 10 to 12 futures markets every day, identifying breakout and reversal trading opportunities. So let's dive right in. Looking first at the ES. Now, we're down 3 points today. I will tell you that I was a little, I thought there was a chance we could get a reversal yesterday. I didn't think that, I wasn't so sure that this rally would hold, and it did hold, and then some, based on some really strong earnings by Amazon. And so with Amazon's strong earnings after hours, we got yet another pop higher. There's something about Fridays lately that have been pretty weak, and so I still am not going to be holding things over the weekend. I don't feel like the weekend is a great time to be holding positions right now. And we have a potential reversal point right up here. So for today, if we rally up into here, I'll be looking at a potential short opportunity somewhere up in here. I'll also be carefully watching a breakdown opportunity below this region here. So throughout the day, especially in the afternoon, is when we've been selling off on Fridays. Now, I'm not saying that it's definitely going to sell off today, but we've got about 7 weeks in a row of history now of the market selling off on Fridays. Just because it's done it 7 weeks in a row doesn't mean it's going to do it 8, but it's something to consider. Overall. Looking at the NQ, we are in a pure basing phase after the Amazon number. We rallied straight up on the Amazon number. We're going to gap up this morning. If we get a gap and go, that could lead us up to this region here. Now, one thing that makes me a little bit nervous about our reversal here in the S&P is that the S&P is not yet back to where it was before our big sell-off earlier this week. However, the Nasdaq is already beyond that big sell-off. So, if we do get the reversal in the S&P, I think there's plenty of room for the Nasdaq at least to come down to 66.71. So, up here is still a reversal point as well, and they could both reach those reversal points at about the same time if we get some decent movements in the morning. Crude oil. So crude oil, we had a breakdown short. Price broke down below to say, hey, get me in, and then it did not stop us out, and now it's just chopping along. So based on your trade management rules, you may or may not still be in this thing off of that breakdown that we talked about yesterday. So if you are still in it, make sure that you're managing your stops accordingly. If you're not in it, you still have a chance to get in if you think that it's going to drop, but I wouldn't get in until it drops below 67.73. Gold. We had our breakdown. Price came up and chopped around and broke some more. And so we are, both the gold breakout and the oil breakout are moving. They're just moving slower than what we like to see a breakout move. So when the breakout happens a bit slower, you might want to manage it a bit tighter. Depends on your individual risk tolerance, but both of them are still working out on those breakdowns. Looking at our bond markets. Now, let's talk about our bond markets. We had a breakdown below this 118 level, and lo and behold, that 118 level wound up acting as a support line. So we bounced off of that support line. By bouncing off that support line, it makes me feel better about this breakout to the downside. And so I'm going to hold this breakout strong. I'm leaving this in play, and I'm not going to take it off until we get to that region. We could have up here the beginnings of a move down. So this would be the top of a slide, and Charlie knows who takes over at the top of a slide.
Bears.
That's right. The Bears take over at the top of a slide. And so what we can do is look at this area right here as a potential reversal point. So if price comes up into here and the Bears are going to take over, we would push the sell button and price would then drop from this area. So we would anticipate a reversal in this area with a fairly tight stop just up through here. So next is the Aussie dollar. And in the Aussie dollar, we have an area still up above us that price has not gotten to that region yet. So when price gets to that region, that's where we may have a little bit of a reversal. The euro, let's take a look at this euro trade. Now, the euro, we had a dashed line trade. And on a dashed line, that means we want price to come in, and we would get long as it bounces out. In this case, it did not bounce out. It blew right through it. So we should never have gotten into the trade. That's the beauty of those dashed line trades. They help me from getting into things that are the wrong setup. So looking a bit higher, let's see if we get a reversal somewhere up in here. We still have this 4-hour level right here in the euro that could come into play a bit later today. So keep that 4-hour level in the euro in mind. I'm not going to leave a line on it because it depends on your risk tolerance. That could be a bit too wide for you off the 4-hour chart. But I have a really good friend who talks about the Goliath chart, right? For those of you that know, a good trader buddy of mine, Sam Evans, he talks about the Goliath chart, and the Goliath chart is the euro. Charlie has something to add about that one.
David killed the Goliath.
You're right. David did kill Goliath, but this is the Goliath chart, and hopefully the Goliath chart won't kill you.
Oh.
All right. And then the Canadian dollar. So we had a short in the Canadian dollar. We talked about how if you didn't get stopped out, you're still okay in it. And you could take a short on the breakdown below this little line here. We talked about that yesterday in the commentary. So if you did get short after it broke below this room here on the Canadian dollar, once it breaks below that breakout line, things are going to continue to fall, right? So once the market starts to fall after that breakdown, it's going to continue its move down because something's going to take over. Why do things fall, Charlie? Why when we drop something off of a building, why does it fall?
Because there's gravity pulling it down.
That's right. Well, there's gravity pulling down this price, and it's falling because there's nothing to stop it from falling. The only thing that stops, if you drop something from a building, what stops it from falling? What does it land on? It lands on the
ground.
Lands on the ground. And if there's no ground below, it's going to fall until it runs into some ground. So that's kind of what this Canadian dollar is doing. It's looking for some ground, and it hasn't quite hit it yet. There's a breakout lesson from a 6-year-old for those of you that are interested. All right. Last but certainly not least is our Great British Pound. And our Great British Pound, just like our Canadian dollar, holy breakdown, right? As this one finally broke out and it broke below our blue line. And so since we broke below our blue line, it's falling, and it's going to fall until it finds what? What's it going to have to find before it stops falling, Charlie?
Ground. I already told you that.
It's going to have to find some ground, and there's the ground is a little bit lower on this trend line down here. So you should still be making some pretty nice profits on this one if you did indeed get the short in that Great British Pound. Japanese yen has not hit its reversal point yet, and we are nowhere near our levels in copper. So all in all, I want you all to make sure that you maintain, just keep an eye on the markets today. I think that if we just hold true to that Friday afternoon sell-off, we could see that it falls. So just be aware of where the markets may move. Until I'll be back on Sunday night with the weekend edition. Anything, Charlie, anything you want to say before we leave? You want to tell them you want to tell everybody to have a good weekend?
Charlie Fulkerson, joined by my dad, Super Ball Chuck Fulkerson.
Stop making fun of me. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.